Yo, welcome to the first episode of In the Mind of Dame, bruh. In the Mind of Dame. What is this podcast going to be about? First, let me introduce myself. My name is Damian. Everybody calls me Dame around here, but yeah, on this joint, we just going to talk about things that's in my head. I have a lot of thoughts about things. I'm a man of many interests. I love sports. I love NFL, NBA, WWE. I love all these things, bro. I love music. I'm obsessed with self improvement. I'm a huge lover of self improvement and just growing my mind every day. I love learning new things, trying new things that I think could be of great benefit. So I learn a lot. I try to learn a lot about things, and I like to share with the world, bro. I would love to share with the world just things I think about, bro. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of thoughts, and I just want to yap about this stuff. I want to yap about it and just talk about it, and I want to just like grow a community of people that want to just share the same interests as me. No episode is going to be like the last one. One day I could be talking about self-improvement for a whole episode. Another episode I could be just covering WWE. Another episode I could just be covering a plethora of topics. I don't know. It's just what comes in my head and what I want to talk about for a week. You know what I'm saying? After a week of thinking of stuff, just talking about what I just want to yap about specifically. So some of people that are listening to this might have heard of my first podcast. It was called If Walls Could Talk. It was featuring me and two of my close friends. And we had a nice little run. You know what I'm saying? I think we did about 18 to 20 episodes of it. And then we stopped. And I guess I can explain what happened with that and where my mindset was when I did it back then and what it is now. But when we did it the first time, I think I was really excited. I always wanted to do something like this, which is just conversate about things that interest me. Like ever since I was a kid, I wanted to do like sports broadcasting. That was like my dream thing to do when I was a kid. But then I don't know, like I got older and then I fell in love with music too. So it was like that both was tugging on me, but then I kind of stopped pursuing it just so that I can kind of get a secure job in tech. So then I didn't go to school for journalism and learn how to do it. And I wish I did now, you know what I'm saying? Because the tech thing hasn't been working out so well for me so far. But I really did love journalism, and I love to have been able to speak about things that spoke to me for a long time. Even when I wanted to do YouTube, I wanted to do YouTube for years. And my favorite thing to watch was like Chris Move. That was the first YouTuber I fell in love with just because of the fact his videos were entertaining, but also he was like a no face, like he had no cam. It was just gameplay in his voice and he was still entertaining it. And I think that's what I wanted because I didn't like my looks when I was a kid. So I was like, fuck a camera. If I could just record myself playing 2K and nobody sees my face, I could really do this thing. So I always wanted to at least do something where I'm talking about something I enjoy doing or what I'm doing in the moment, but it's kind of just through voice. And I just really grew to love that. So I was really excited to start podcasting. But just the time constraint life, it was just really hard to do and keep up with consistently week after week. So it just got hard to do and I had to stop. And I really wish I didn't because even back then I just questioned whether it was a good podcast or not. I didn't know if people really thought it was a good product or if people really was enjoying it for it. So I think my confidence kind of got shaken because the first episode had like 100 listens. And then after that, it just went quickly downhill. And then it was barely getting listens after a while. So then I'm like, all right, maybe it's not engaging enough. And I knew we had our limitations. We couldn't promote it the way it should have been promoted if we really wanted this thing to become something. But I'm not good at like video editing or making TikToks and IG reels. So if anybody out there want to help me, bro, let a nigga know something, bro. Store a price, bro. I'll slide you some bread. But I didn't know none of this stuff for real. So it was kind of like we could have been putting out a good product, but what's a good product if nobody knows about it? So I think even this time around, I'm not even doing it with all of that either. Like I don't have more money to put into it or more time to put into it. The only thing I have around this time is just my art. I just want to do something consistently for a good period of time. And if this is my destiny or if this is my purpose for this to grow, man, I want to build this from the ground up. I want to start with 0 listeners and grow up to whatever it's going to be. If it becomes something great, that's amazing. But I know this is something I want to do because it helps me out spiritually to just pursue something and work towards something. So it's like, all right, me building this from the ground up to be something, I'm way more willing to like prove to myself, let's get 10 episodes straight out there before we start trying to invest serious time, money, and effort into it. Like, let's prove to ourselves, prove to me that you love it enough to grow it from zero to however it's going to be, to make sure that this is going to be something before you start putting money into it. So this is, it's audio now only for right now, but you know, I'm gonna prove it to myself to earn getting on camera, to invest in a webcam, ring light, and all that. I gotta prove it to myself that this is a worthy investment to do. And the first step is to just do this consistently, get good at this thing. I want to be good at this podcasting thing. I really feel like I'm so good at it now that just with more time practicing and getting good at it, I'm going to be great. And I'm going to eventually rise to that place where I'm able to sit down with artists I love, athletes I love, other podcasters I love. So I just want to get good at this thing, man. So, you know, if you vibing, bro, leave a follow and definitely listen for more episodes, bro. I'm going to try to get consistent at this thing. But yeah, so that kind of explained why the first one didn't work out. But this one I think could work out, bro. You know, I'm going to be my true, authentic self in it and just share what I really think is going on in my mind, my true opinions about things. And we're going to see where it go, bro. We're going to see where it go. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is it's kind of relating to why I kind of got back into podcasting and why I feel like I'll be a lot more consistent in it. And it's because I had like a recent moment of like reflecting and doing more research about something, and it like really inspired me. So there's a woman on YouTube. This happened a couple weeks ago. I was just kind of scrolling on YouTube or whatever, and I landed on this YouTube video. Now, I have been watching a decent amount of Christian content on YouTube as of, you know, recent, just because I do meditations in the morning. So I've been listening to them while I do my meditations. I'll be like, oh, Christian meditation or something. So then I ran into a video and it was called How Theology School Turned Me Into an Atheist. And it was by a woman named Britt Hartley. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to check it out. I really want to hear what happened. What did she learn? And how she became one. And I'm not going to say what I heard in the video because I'm not trying to persuade anybody about whether it's real or not. I would just say the video changed me. Like, I 100% could see how her experience in it and what she learned what she learned there, what she does share in the video, how that equates to maybe at the possibility that God is not real. So from that moment, I think it did scare me, but I think even internally, I always was kind of questioning for a good amount of time, like whether I believe God is real or is the God that has been pushed onto me my whole life, is this a real thing? I didn't know. I really didn't know. So I think for a second after hearing that video, I went to church recently and I had an experience there, and I felt like from being there, I could 100% see how, with what she's saying in her video and what I'm seeing in church now, how there's a possibility that God is not real. So I think as of recent, I have been kind of questioning whether I believe or not, right? And from continuing watching the woman's videos, she had a bunch of videos about how religion is great. Like, it's a great thing to have because of what it gives us as people. It gives us community. It gives us purpose. It gives us virtues. It gives us so many things that we need psychologically and socially that people need it, right? But you can get to a point, and her point was, you can get to a point where you can take the good things from religion and you can, and even past not maybe believing, you could live a life worth living. And I think for me, after watching and hearing some of the techniques that the woman had, on top of kind of questioning whether I believe in God or not, because I've started to have my own questions and my own thoughts about things that's in the Bible and everything. And, you know, for me, it just makes me kind of believe. I just don't know. That's as good as I can give an answer to. Like, I'm not saying I'm an atheist. I think the term for what I am right now is like agnostic. I just don't know. I don't have enough information to believe or not to be so certain that he's not real. I don't know. I just don't know. But I think from that moment, it was kind of like, okay, you have a choice to make. You know, like, Do you want to kind of keep it, kind of, I guess, living the quote unquote Christian way, or do you live by what your true values and morals line that you did learn in religion, but maybe there's certain things that you align with differently because maybe through the Christian lens you think this way, but instead I'm choosing to think another way. So that's kind of where my mind has been at. So some of the tips that the lady gave, I really feel like from using these tips, I have felt like my life feels a lot more like something I can build, and I know what it is, my life that I know what the life is I want to live. I know what it is what my best life possible looks like. And here's things that even if you don't believe in a higher power, if you don't believe in the Christian God, here's how you can still live a life worth living. So here's some of the things that I have learned from it and I'm trying to incorporate into my everyday life. So one of them is like showing kindness and compassion to others. I feel like every day I try to just be as nice as I can to everybody. You know, I work at Walmart. It's a high stressful job sometimes. You run into some crazy people in there. But I always give every person I interact with a fair shot. You know what I mean? I always introduce myself kindly to them. I always try to give them the best customer service I have, even if I hate the job, just because I just want to live and be kind and compassionate to others. You know what I mean? Like there's times I'd be tired at work and somebody asks me a question. I'm like, man, I don't want to do it. And now I'm like, you know what? Like I got to put in more effort to be kind to others. So like the other day, a lady, she had like 30 things of mulch. I don't know what she needed that much mulch for, but she had like 30 bags and she was pushing this huge cart of 30 things of mulch. And a part of me is like, you know what? I'm not even on the clock yet. I don't even know if she's going to tip me. I'm gonna just keep walking. But then a part of me was like, no, I want to live in this kindness more and be compassionate. And I walked up to her and I said, hey, like, do you need help? She was like, yes, of course. So I walked up, I pushed it to the truck. She ain't really helped me out much. I put all 30 bags in the car, bro. And she didn't tip me. But you know what? It didn't matter. I felt good doing what I did for her because it made me feel good to be kind to somebody. So that's one thing, and it feels good to be kind to people. Two is build community. I think church does a really good job of giving that to people, to their congregation. And I think for me, I'm a pretty social person. So I have been trying to make more of an effort to build community. I have great friends, you know, the freaks, y'all know who y'all are. I have great friends in place to like keep me company. My coworkers at work, they're great to hang out and talk to all the time. And then I'm also going to start trying to do more to build more community. This podcast could become a community for me to share my thoughts and grow in people and hear from other people, whether it's music suggestions, movie suggestions, like it could be whatever, but it will be great to just meet people who are interested in the same interests that I have. So this is me trying to build community. I told myself I wanted to start playing basketball again and get in a basketball league. So I'm trying to build community through a sport that I love. So yeah, that's like another thing that it's really good to do. Another thing, serve others, volunteer work. I'm gonna try to get better at it. I'm not the biggest volunteer. I don't know why. I think I used to volunteer at my church a lot that I used to go to, but I'm like, you know what? It would be dope to volunteer, you know, especially around the DMV area. There's a lot of areas that I think could definitely use help. But, you know, I think my dream thing when it comes to this section, even if I don't get to this point, I would still try to find opportunities to volunteer. But I would love to get this podcast up to a huge point to where I wanted to like be able to do something cool, like a cold drive to, you know, go out to DC and just do a food giveaway, just hire some people to, you know, cook food on the street and then hand it out to the homeless people for free. I seen Queen's Flip do that back, you know, like I watched his YouTube video where he was in his hood and he did like a jerk chicken giveaway just in his hood, just to give people food. And I'm like, man, that's dope. So, I mean, I would love to be able to do that. And if I'm not able to, that's dope. I would just try to find a way to just serve things that's already here. But I definitely want to start, you know, kind of, you know, just giving back to the community, man, and feeling more involved. Another thing is build a life worth living. You know, for me, actually, I'm gonna skip that one because I'm gonna go back because it ties into another thing. And another thing is make art. Make art just for no good reason. I started like making beats again. I tried to start making beats more consistently. I don't even save them. I'll literally open FL Studio, lay down a melody, put some drums down, and I would just click off. I wouldn't save it. I wouldn't arrange it. I just would literally make a beat or just listen to the sounds and just make my own chord progressions just to do it. Not because I'm trying to make the next top 40 hit. I'm just doing it just because I want to do it. And I feel like, honestly, it's been good to be creative because I used to think of like beats as so technical. Like there's you do this first and you do this second, instead of just getting on FL Studio and just making something. So it's been really dope to just be like, okay, fine. Like I could learn some tips and tricks of how to make good beats, and I could learn music theory and all these things like that. But when I open it up, I'm just gonna try to play what I think sounds good, and I'm just done. That's just how I create. The next thing is engage and play like when you were a kid and be curious. I told myself I'm gonna start cooking more because I think if I try to make cooking like an experience of just learning something new or just trying something to do and make it fun, I feel like I will actually like cooking. I actually feel like I will actually like to cook, but I don't now because cooking feels like such a chore. So just trying to just be curious about things. Like even when I'm at work, sometimes I try to make being at work be like a game. Like the game is like, yo, like let's get this order out in less than 5 minutes and whatever. Like I just try to just make some fun out of anything, which is hard to do sometimes, especially if you don't like the act that you're doing. But when you make it a game or when you make it fun, that makes it a little bit of a better experience. So try and get out. Creating a story of your life is the next one that I wrote down. Creating a story of your life in which you are the character, you're the main character. You have supporting characters in your story. You make whoever character you want to be, and you tell whatever story you want to write. I think for me, I have a great story of what I would want my life to look like, and it kind of goes back to build a life worth living. I know what that life worth living looks like for me, or what would be the best case scenario of it. So trying to just continue to push through that story and just work towards getting that story. The next thing is exercise. I try to exercise every chance I get. You know, work could be. I already do enough physical labor at work, but on my days off, I try to go to the gym every time I have a day off. So I create a little workout routine on ChatGPT. Hey, yo, my workout goals is improve athleticism, gain strength, and I want to gain some weight. So give me 2 exercises for my off days, and it will do that. And it kind of goes back to the me wanting to start cooking. I almost asked ChatGPT actually and meal prep for me too for these 2 days. Like so, I'm trying to keep the body right. You know what I'm saying? Try to stay in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Just and keep my body moving. I don't want to ever get stagnant in terms of physical activity. And I said I want to start playing basketball more. I haven't played basketball in a long time, bro. I'm probably trash now, but I want to get back into it. I loved it so much when I was in high school. I loved it so much when I was in college. And for some reason, I have no motivation to hoop. I don't know what happened to my hoop uh, motivation. I have no desire to get good. I have no desire to want to get better. But now maybe it's something that's worth working towards. Maybe that would add on to growing in my spirituality or growing, just some meaning and purpose into my life and building rituals. That would be nice to do. So the next thing is build a life based on how we want to experience it and not for legacy. And just basically just doing things in your life, not because you want to be known for the next 5,000 years. It's just to just live a life where you enjoy the experience so that when time is up, unfortunately, and it all comes for all of us, you can just close your eyes and know, hey, I lived a good life. And I think that's something that's really dope. I never pictured, life being like that. And that's actually pretty dope. Um, Engage in acts that grow spirituality. So in one of the woman's videos that I watched, it was like a whole list of things that help you grow spiritually because spirituality is just connecting with yourself and connecting with the world. So I thought it would be dope to just kind of know more things that will help you grow spiritually. I already started meditating a lot more. I meditate almost every morning and sometimes at night. But just simple things that just connect you, singing and listening to music is that an act that can grow spiritually. They have walking meditation. Yoga helps you grow spiritually. Even she even said podcasting is a way to grow spiritually. It's like, you're right. Like it really is. That's what helped me start wanting to do this more consistently is like, okay, bet that actually is something that can help me grow spiritually and connect with myself and connect with the world. So, just actually doing those things. I think playing basketball is a way to help me grow spiritually, allow me to be expressive when I was on the court, play with teammates, do all these things. And it's like, wow, a lot of things that I didn't know outside of maybe prayer and meditation are things that can help you grow spiritually. There's other things you can do. There's other things that you can do. Living by your core values, those type of things are really important to help you grow spiritually. And the next thing is take risk and work towards your best life possible. Now, I actually wrote mine down. I've actually been trying to journal a little bit more because I'm going to explain the journal thing. So I was with a friend recently and they showed me like a recipe book that I think their grandmother started. Like she had a recipe book of these recipes she wrote down and she passed it down basically to her granddaughter. So she has a whole recipe book of recipes her grandmother made. And I thought that was like really dope because that's something that could be passed down from generation to generation. And the friend I had wrote a recipe in there theirself. Like, oh yeah, here's a recipe that I think they would think is fire. And I'm like, that's really cool that you have that because that's something that could be passed down from generation to generation. So in the midst of it, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start writing these little things I learned about how I could, live a meaningful life and just journal my thoughts down. And this is something I want to pass down to like my kids or whatever for them to hear like good messages psychologically that could really help them if they're ever struggling or help them just feel good about themselves. So I actually wrote down what my best possible life looked like. And this was what I wrote down. I said, my best possible life is to make a comfortable living through podcasting. My podcast will be able to fund my lifestyle so that I don't have to work for a company. Through this podcast, I will get to meet and collab with people that have inspired me and sit and have in-depth conversation with them. These would be people for me, like the people that inspire me. This would be like the Mallory Bros. This would be like the Joe Budden podcast. It would be Kendrick Lamar. It would be people who I've looked up to my whole life who've had a profound impact on me and help me have these great moments in life. LeBron, that's somebody who I would love to sit down and have a conversation with. Like, I'm not trying to shoot for the moon by Kendrick Lamar and LeBron, but like just getting respect from people in the podcasting space or just the world in general, whether it's music artists, whether it's athletes, growing this podcast into something that even they can recognize as a great product or something that they find joy in. That's what I mean when I say like I want to meet and collab with people that have inspired me and just sit and have in-depth conversations with them because these are people who I have so many questions for. Like I have a literal like long ass list of questions I would ask Kendrick Lamar and LeBron. You know what I mean? Like it would be dope to do that. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be, oh, I have the most listeners on Spotify podcast history. That doesn't matter. It will be being able to sit down and talk to people who I wouldn't have had the access to have a conversation to if it wasn't for this podcast I built. So to keep going, I said, with the money I make, I would make a difference in my community by giving back. I also want to be a positive role model to people with similar experiences as me and give them hope. At some point, I want to be married with kids. I want to be able to give my kids the world and raise them to be amazing human beings and have the things that I might not have not had growing up. I want to continue to build community in my life, especially an online community for this podcast. I want to travel and see the world and go on amazing trips to different parts of the world. Last but not least, I want to bring everybody together for love, kindness, and compassion. I would love to have the house where we have get-togethers for friends and family and bring people together who have the same interests that I do online and make them feel welcome in an online setting. A lot of this for me is I just want this space that I'm trying to create to be a safe haven for people. I would love for people to listen to me and it helps them get through their workday or it makes them laugh. It makes them smile. I want to make something that it makes people feel like they're not alone in something. I don't know. That's the impact I want to have. And I want the impact to be so great that this thing could take me places I've never been, whether it's to Japan to talk to somebody, whether it's to meet some of my favorite artists. You know what I'm saying? I would love to sit down with Earl Sweatshirt and him be like, yo, I really wanted to come on here because you just know how to have a good conversation, bro. It's chill here. Like I can get shit off here and you just a cool dude. Like that's all I want, bro. Like for me, that means more to me than anything is for it to be something that's respectable for people. That's for respectable. Like, nigga, he's good at this shit, and I listen every week because he's so good and he makes me feel amazing. He helps my day when I'm at work or something. I want to be that for somebody, even if it's 100 people a week, even if it's for 100,000 people. I want to be that for somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because man, there's enough hate in the world, bro. There's enough hate in the world, and I feel like somebody got to be the bright spot out this joint. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to be the bright spot out here. So yeah, man, I just want to do that, man. So and then another thing I wrote in this journal I want to pass down is like some daily reminders and like affirmations and stuff like that that I feel like I say every morning, or I try to remind myself of every morning to be able to work towards that best life that I want to live. So like some of them in here is like life isn't permanent. Life has its ups and downs. If it's a downtime, it's got to go back up eventually. You know what I mean? So not getting too stuck in that moment and realizing that, like there's hope that like, hey, it's going to be down, but there's brighter days ahead. And also not getting too high because, if you're riding the high, also understanding that, hey, it can come down. You know what I'm saying? It's going to come down at some point. You know what I'm saying? So don't get too attached to that feeling. Enjoy it, be present with it, but don't get too in love with it. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? There's another tip I wrote. When stressed and upset, do some deep breathing. I be at work, I be stressed out, I be having to do a little meditation to the side just to keep my composure. You know what I'm saying? So I had to write that down. You know what I'm saying? Reminding myself everything will work out, bro. Just continue to work towards that best life possible, bro. Take a risk towards it. Everything gonna work out. Yeah, we could post this episode right now, and it's only gonna have 5 listeners week 1. But if we keep doing every week, by next year, bro, we could have 100 people listening to an episode, 200. You got it. Everything gonna work out the way it's supposed to. So reminding myself of that. You know what I'm saying? Another one, I want to make someone smile every day. I want to, whether it's a coworker with a good joke, whether it's a random customer because I helped them find something in the store, somehow, some way, somebody gonna smile today, and it's gonna be because of me. So I want to work towards that. I remind myself that, hey, I'm smart, that I'm kind. I gotta remind myself I'm a handsome dude too. You know what I'm saying? I gotta let myself know, hey, you him. You know what I'm saying? I gotta remind myself of that. And then the next thing would be living well. You will achieve the life you set out for yourself. You gonna accomplish the goals, bro. Just keep working. Like it's gonna work out. It's gonna be ups and downs, but at the end, it's gonna be up. So keep going, bro. Keep going. And another thing is, people's opinion of you are just mouth sounds. So don't let it bother you. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we all here. We just mammals, bro. That's my new line. Like, we just mammals, bro. Like, it's not going to matter in 200 years what people said about me, bro. And it shouldn't matter now because it shouldn't have so much of a pull or an effect on me. So just keep doing what you want to do. This is my life. I got to live it. I got to live it the way I think would be dope. So I gotta work towards it, bro. And you gotta not care about what people think, bro. People might laugh that I'm doing this podcast and Joan. Who cares, bro? I'm doing it, you not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta work, bro. We gotta continue to build up that life that we want to live for ourselves, even when it gets scary to do. So I just try to set out to really work towards this. And yeah, I mean, I think for me, like I said, me not kind of knowing whether I believe or not, it's been helpful to have these things in my life still to kind of keep me pushing, because in a way where it has been tough some days of not knowing what your life looks like after, if you don't know if you believe in God or not, there's a part of it that still feels like, okay, you know what, but these existential fears and crises I used to have about things, I don't have anymore. I'm building this thing for myself. I'm building almost like, I heard her kind of say what they said, that somebody told her that it's almost like she's building a new religion. And she was like, yeah, she is. And I felt like it wasn't me trying to like say, oh, I'm a god or anything, because that's not what I'm saying. It's just more like I'm able to define things and bring things into my life and live by a code of ethics that truly make me happy. It's not from um, a holy text that you don't really know if you fully believe in or not, but you believed in it your whole life. It's good to build these things from scratch because only you know what really means something to you. You only know what virtues that you really hold close are. And you also know, you just know these things. You know what I'm saying? And so to build these things into your life and still understand that, hey, like if volunteering is important to me, and this is an act that's going to make me feel like it brings me purpose and meaning, then we're going to do it with or without church anyway. Like we were going to do it regardless. The same thing where I didn't have to be a Christian to know it was nice to help that lady put in the mulch. It just me. I just did it. You know, like so. There's things I might have learned from being Catholic most of my life, right? That yes, I can still take with me even if I don't believe in the higher power that's been pushed onto me. I can't say for certain there isn't one, and I can't say for certain that there is one. I just know after doing some extensive research on the topic of everything and then knowing how religion works, how churches work, and then kind of seeing it for myself had definitely made me have my doubts. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the reason I'm so, I think, open to say it now is just because it's part of the journey. You know what I mean? It's part of the journey of being fearless in this stage where it's like, hey, like, you don't know, but your life has to continue on while you're still questioning. And here's some tools for how to kind of bring that into your life when you're starting something new. So it's been a good journey. It's had its moments where it's tough, but it still has been good because I'm so much more willing and open to try things that I might not have tried before. So, so yeah, so that's kind of just what I've been on recently and just something I wanted to share. You know what I'm saying? Because it's episode one. I want to be open about who I am and what I love. All right, so now we're gonna get off that heavy subject. We're gonna get off because I might have been a lot. So we're gonna get to the next topic. So I'm a big WWE fan, and they have been blowing me, bro. I almost named this segment or this chapter of the podcast where we're gonna talk about this like WWE is going MAGA, but I think I'm gonna just cool with WWE is greedy as hell. They greedy as hell, and I'm so mad that they're greedy because it's a really good product. It's a really, really good product. The wrestling is great. The the wrestlers are amazing. It's high quality work in everything that they do. It is. And like the wrestlers are great. They have pride in what they do. They take their job seriously. And they're entertaining as hell. Like I cannot deny how good of a product WWE is. And some people have its critiques of it. They don't feel like the storytelling is as good. But I'll cut them some slack. WWE it's a tough business. You got Seth Rollins getting hurt right now, and you have these title vacancies, and you have to make big decisions in the middle of kind of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like they had Naomi win the women's title, and then she gets pregnant. You know what I'm saying? And you have to kind of be like, oh shit, this was our champion, and now our literally heaviest women's title in the division is going to be vacant. We have to figure out where we're going to go from here. And I feel like, to me, the storylines aren't as bad as I think they could be for being in such a situation like that where you can't control somebody getting injured or somebody, getting pregnant. Like that takes, some decent, I'll give them some leeway on it, especially because I don't want to be too harsh on it because it's a product I just got back into maybe a year ago, if that, you know what I mean? So, but WWE, they're greedy. Like they're getting greedy, and I think they know that they're a good product, so they know people are invested into it. It's $1 billion company, and it just feels like they just are doing whatever it is to just take more money. I watched Raw on Monday night, and it was John Cena going back to Boston, and Triple H comes out, and he's supposed to give this John Cena kind of like appreciation speech. And I don't know if it's just me. Listening to the speech, bruh, it felt like Triple H just talked about how much money John Cena just made them. And he was just like, he's the GOAT because he's made us so much money. It did not feel like it was one that was rooted in how good of a wrestler he was. It was just like, this dude is a movie star. He could kill you on the mic. He's the face of the company. Look at what he does for the business. Like he just made so much emphasis on the business aspect of it. And I was like, God damn, like John Cena did way more than just bring you money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like talk about the face off with Edge and Randy Orton, how he had to tear down some a crazy roster of niggas to be a 17 now 18-time world champion. Like that's wild. And it just felt like he just kept just saying, he just made money for the business. He just did it for the business. Like he just made us so much cheese. He's the GOAT. And I'm like, that's really it? Like that's all you can see. And another thing that just makes me think they're greedy, bro, there's advertisements everywhere. You can't miss it. They have so many sponsor labels on that set now. It's ridiculous. I mean, even the commentators, yeah, this Monday Night Raw sponsored by DoorDash. They walk down the ring and then it's not even Raw on the ring size no more. It's Snickers, it's DoorDash, it's Twix, it's something. They got a huge ass Prime bottle station right next to them. It's just money everywhere, and you're like, God damn, they just taking money from everybody. Everybody wants a piece of the WWE pie, and it's crazy. I work at Walmart, bruh. I be seeing the Minute Maid cans. Them Jones be having Jey Uso on there. I'm like, this is so much more of a bigger company than what it was when I started watching. I started watching wrestling back when I think it's maybe 2007, 2008, because I remember I had those games. So I think I started in 2007. That's when I started watching wrestling. And I'm telling you, it's so much more bigger than what it was when I was a kid. It's so huge. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. And the reason why I say they're greedy, bruh, is just because I feel like they're pricing the fans out, bro. The fans cannot, I don't think normal fans can afford this. Like, Netflix is expensive, but most of us already have Netflix already. So it's not that big of a deal that Raw's on Netflix because most people already have Netflix already. So all it is just like, okay, fine. It's just on my streaming app. That's cool. But they moved to ESPN, and you already had to have Netflix and Peacock because you had to have Peacock to watch the PLEs. I'm like, okay, well, Peacock's not a bad app. Like, they have good movies, good shows on there. So me having Peacock or having to add Peacock and then I get WWE on top of it, I'm not mad. Like, I'm like, all right, that's fine, especially because it's a good app. But then they take it off and then put it on ESPN. And ESPN, I don't even know how much money it is now, but I know it's high enough. I know it's something outrageous, like $25 a month or something. Like, it's something crazy. So it's either they probably have it on the baseline thing, maybe $25 a month, or maybe you got to put the WWE package on there, so that's an extra $10. Either way, WWE, if you want to watch basically everything, it's at least $60 a month. It costs you $60 a month, or maybe $50 to watch it, and it's a good product. So of course, I think people are willing to invest that money into it. But goddamn, like that's just a lot of money. And I lived in the DMV. John Cena's last match ever is in DC. The prices for this show, understandably, are outrageous. They're outrageous. If you are somebody like me who has never been to a show, I've never been to a show. I've never been to a WWE house show. I've never been to a live event. I haven't been yet. But if your favorite wrestler ever is John Cena and you're like, screw it, I'm dropping whatever it is to go see him for the last time, even if it's the last thing I do. Bro, it's so expensive. Like, it might have priced people who were in that situation out. And I get it. But, nigga, they're going to Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania in a couple years. Like, they have consumed so much money that is ridiculous. And it just feels like they're going to continuously figure out who else wants a piece of the pie. They're just going to the next best thing, the next best bidder. And now they're even in cahoots with other company like the AAA thing. Now they working with WWE. I don't get it no more. I just know WWE is collecting a ridiculous check, and I get it. It's a high quality product. They every wrestler on there, I'm gonna say every single one, but most of the wrestlers on there are fantastic. They're fantastic, but there's still money that I haven't talked about yet. They have 5 podcasts that are under WWE. So the money coming to them right back. Stephanie McMahon got a podcast. Cody Rhodes got a podcast. Undertaker got a podcast. Jake Paul's Impulsive is under there. Like, oh my goodness, like it's just like, and I know they're getting a piece of the pie for that, so money's coming from that. They have all these other shows on other networks. They got the little like Tough Enough remix joint where they got you watching them train niggas to become, a part of the roster or whatever. So they going like they got the little joints where they're getting coached by Undertaker and Booker T to train the wrestlers. So I know they're getting some money from that. They're getting so much money from everywhere. So then now let's fast forward. Westside Gunn, that's one of my favorite rappers. One of my favorite rappers, bruh. He's so good. He's amazing, bruh. And I ain't gonna lie, he's so good, and I gotta show him so much love. I might create a Westside Gunn playlist at the end of the month and drop it at the end of the month because I want people to listen to my favorite songs from him. I actually would do that, but I might do that just to give me something to do, just to do something creative. Anyway, so basically, Westside Gunn, he's a huge fan of WWE. He's a super fan. I mean, he's the reason I got back into it. He made wrestling cool again for me because I'm like, man, he got these wrestling samples in here. Some of the album covers are wrestling. He got wrestling bars like in his music and stuff like that. He loved this joint, right? Been a huge fan of WWE. Basically, WWE has a live event somewhere and they kick Westside Gunn out. Like they remove him from the stadium. Like this man had paid his money and they removed him from the stadium. Now, some more information. Westside Gunn, because he's such a huge fan of wrestling and the WWE that he grew up with, created an independent circuit called Fourth Rope Wrestling. I heard it's really good. I heard it's really, really good. And they basically sent him a cease and desist because he has all these like interview samples and all these album covers with his music, and they basically told him like take all the stuff down from your music or whatever because this is into our intellectual property, which I will admit they're well within their right to do. But he goes there and they kick him out, basically just to kick him out. And a lot of people are referencing the fact that they feel like he got kicked out because they see his Fourth Rope company as competition. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, no, he's not. Like, he has a independent circuit. He's a rapper who has shown WWE so much love and so much, just so much respect. Like, he has done more for the WWE in terms of bringing people back into it, more than Travis Scott did. And for them to treat him like that and kick him out of the state, out of the arena when he paid money to is bullshit. I don't care what the reason is. I don't care if they're mad that he used their stuff in their music when they knew that because he did that, it brought people into their company, or if they're mad that he has his own little thing and they view him as competition. WWE is, everybody else is under the WWE. And even the person that's like next under there, I don't know if it's AEW or what, they're not touching the WWE. It's the best product out here. And people, and it's been proven that it's the best product out here. It's proven that it's the product that they love, that people love the most. So what were you worried about his company for? And if you really, why did you feel so threatened and so threatened enough to make a scene to kick him out of the arena? That's ridiculous. That is ego. That is just being on a power trip, and I don't fuck with that. I think that's super fucking lame because they didn't have to do that at all. They did it to, I don't know what they did it for, but anyway, I don't care what the reason is. That's lame, and I feel like they knew that he was a fan of it. He was such a fan of it that he started his own independent wrestling company because of the WWE that he grew up on and loved. He was not there to steal talent or do anything crazy. He was there because he loves y'all product, even when he has his own. And they kind of took the fandom away from him a little bit. And I don't fuck with that. I really don't fuck with that because you could see when Westside Gunn posted and told about it, that really upset him. And I feel like that for me was WWE kind of just being an asshole. And I feel like it was very, to me, it's hard to not think there's some racial undertone there because why did you do that? You didn't have to do that. Like, were you mad that people they could have easily took time out to make some light for Westside Gunn. He brought fans to WWE. I can't prove what the number is, but I know me and even my man Stray talked about it. He said, yo, he kind of got me back into wrestling. That's two people right there. There's more people for sure that got back into wrestling because Westside Gunn made them think it was cool again, or that it was a worthy product to pull up to because he talked about it so much. He loved it. And for them to maybe, they could have easily just said, hey, here's Westside Gunn. They could have capitalized off it too. Westside Gunn loved our product so much growing up. He's doing something cool by starting his own. Y'all should check it out. What did you think, that people were going to get mad that you showed off his company? Like, or that they were just not going to watch WWE anymore because Fourth Rope is there? Like, that was not ever going to be an issue. And the fact that they made such an outlandish statement to kick him out of there for no reason that I think will be explainable is really fucking lame. It is really lame. And I feel like I watched the Vince McMahon documentary and they talked about how Vince killed the whole circuit. Like, he would just take wrestlers from all these independent circuits and bring them their own. And he just completely killed companies. And I'm like, this is them doing it now, but they're already so ahead in first place that them doing it now is just overkill. Like, nobody, no matter if you watch AEW, you didn't stop watching WWE. And there's not enough people that will start watching AEW and just think that, oh, we're not watching WWE anymore. They're not doing that. And they know that. They have all the money. They have a ridiculous amount of money that they don't have to do this. And the fact that they did it is lame. It's lame and it's fucked up. It's lame and it's fucked up. And I feel like the reason why it's so frustrating for me is because I wish they sucked, because I would just be like, I'm not watching them no more. And I would actively like boycott. But I can't even lie. It's too good. It's too good. It's too good of a product to just be like, I got to put this down. And I hate the fact that I'm having this like hesitation about it. But I have to be honest, like, it tugs at my heartstrings because WWE is so good. I love Charlotte Flair. I love some CM Punk. Like, they're so good at what they do that I'm really watching for them. But fuck this bitch ass company. Like, that's so crazy to me. And honestly, so I kind of left out saying this. I haven't watched Fourth Row because I don't really know how to access it. Like, I don't know if it's just live events. I don't know if it's something I could stream. But I left out saying, you know what? I'm not going to make too much more of a financial investment into WWE anymore because, I mean, I already got Netflix. I was going to have it with or without WWE. I'm for sure not buying that ESPN shit. I would just miss the pay-per-views. But yeah, I'm just not going to make any more investments into WWE more than what it already is. If they come back to DC for a live show post the Saturday Night Live event, maybe I'll go just because I would love to go at least once. But besides that, I don't see myself making any more financial contributions into WWE. But however, I'm supporting Fourth Rope. I didn't check it out much because I really didn't know what it was or how to access it. I knew it was his own wrestling thing, but I didn't do the research on it. But I'm gonna definitely do more research, and I'm supporting it. Like, he needs the support, and I listened to Joe Budden and them talk about it, and Mark Lamont said it's a really good product. Like, he said it's legit. Like, it's insane how good it is, and I believe it. Like, Westside Gunn's a fan of this shit. He studied it, and I think that's why they hate him, because they know he put out a good product, and they don't like seeing a good back product. We all know Westside Gunn has built his career up from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was doing shit with independent, from the ground up. And even though he's still underground, he has the respect of people in the industry. Jay-Z knows who he is. Travis Scott, who WWE loves so much, and they platformed the fuck out of him and everything like that. Even Westside Gunn is so real that he was on Utopia and he was underground. So he had the respect of his peers, and he had respect in the black community. He had respect in the hip hop community that WWE kind of just basically just said, fuck us. Like, we don't care. Money is money, and he making money over there, and it's not, and somehow it's not money for us, or whatever it is. And they hating that he has a good product. That's what it is. They hate the fact that he has a good product, and I think that's lame. I honestly think that's some lame ass shit. And I wish they sucked, because I would never watch this shit again. All right. And I think I'm kind of good for today. I think I got two things I want to leave off with. Is I have two recommendations. I want to share recommendations of stuff that I thought was cool for the week, if I find something that was cool. So two things I would recommend y'all check out. Number one is I watched the Piece by Piece Lego documentary of Pharrell Williams. I know that sounds champ. Hear me out. It's a great watch. I sometimes still watch kid movies with the hope that maybe one day when I have a kid, these are movies I would want to show them. And Piece by Piece is definitely one that would be on the list for many reasons. One, I think the story being told of Pharrell is really, really well done and creative. I think it was really creative how they told the story of some of the biggest moments of his career. And like even when I was watching a movie, I was like, damn, Pharrell produced this joint. Damn, that's how that happened. That's so cool. And I thought it was really creative, and I felt like it kind of gave me the best of everything. Like me, like if I had a kid, right? Like it was a dope thing to see. I can get so many things done with basically one movie. I can show my kid somebody who I think is part of Black history, and they can learn about somebody who had such an impact in music, such as Pharrell, right? They can learn it in a kid kind of manner with the Lego thing, and then also they can learn something from it. They can learn about how he followed his dream and how maybe he wasn't as good in school as he was, but you know what? He found something that really caught his interest and worked towards it. I thought that was a super dope story to tell, and how, you know, he took risks towards living the best life possible. And I really pulled that from that. It was like Pharrell took many risks to live the best life possible for himself. So I would definitely say it kind of crossed it checks off all the boxes for a good like kid movie. So Piece by Piece documentary of Pharrell Williams. It's on Netflix. Y'all should check it out. And thing number two is this is the music one. It is the Kendrick Lamar EP. I've been talking about this album for like a good month now. Like anybody who I speak to, you know, I talk a little bit of music with them. I always be like, yo, I've been cranking the Kendrick Lamar EP like crazy, bro. Like for me, that EP, bro, is so good. It's so good to hear a young Kendrick before becoming, you know, the biggest face in hip hop. Just talk about how bad he wants to do it. You know what I'm saying? How bad he wants to become the greatest. How he's gonna be the greatest. Manifesting everything that kind of has happened to him for him. So to kind of hear like him have these thoughts about it and what he wants to accomplish and seeing him do it, it's amazing. It's amazing to hear it. The production on it is good. The rapping on there is fire. Some of my favorite songs on there off the top of my head that I can think of. I think Faith is a good one. I think Wanna Be Heard is a good one. There's a good amount. I mean, Celebration is fire. There's another thing. There's another one. What's the Let Me Be Me? That's probably one of my favorite ones. There's a lot of good tracks on there. Uncle Jason Keating and Uncle Bobby. That's a great one. The whole thing is fire. I think I only really don't like one track, but besides the one track I don't like, amazing. 9 out of 10 album. I feel like you can pull a lot of inspiration from hearing a young Kendrick talk about how bad he wants to be a rapper and how bad he wants to make a difference in changing his community, and him wanting to do it in his way. You know what I'm saying? And not letting outside influences affect him in reaching his goal. You know what I'm saying? And it ties back to the same thing I learned, which was he took risks to live the best life possible. And I feel like that's kind of just what I'm trying to do. Just take the risk towards living my best life, bro. So those are just two things I recommend, bro. You know, I feel like there's a lot of good inspiration in both of them, and then they're both high quality products. So that is it for the first episode of In the Mind of Dame. If you guys like this episode, man, please rate the show 5 out of 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Leave a comment for your boy. Support the social media channels. Instagram at that xboyxdame. Same thing on Instagram is if how do I forget the name on In the Mind of Dame? That's just the name on Instagram. Check him out. Follow them both, bro. Leave comments, engage, share with your friends, family, and all that. And I will catch y'all next Thursday, bro. Peace.